Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everybody. My name is MiAh the King, and I told my doctor that I broke my arm in 2 places. He told me to stop going to those places. Now then, today we're taking a look at a game just released on Steam called Fields of Mistria, a farming simulator, slice of life simulator with pixelated graphics, developed by and published by NPC Studio, released in early access, and selling for $14 frickin' dollars. Damn, that's cheap. So, what is this game? Well, I don't know. All I know is that it's got an adorable art style. I mean, oh my gosh, just look at those cute little cows. Oh my goodness, they're so damn cute. But in all seriousness, crap, it really looks like another farming sim game that I'm about to waste 40 more hours of my life on. Another Stardew Valley clone, which, that just seems to be the theme this month, don't it? Like, how many of these am I gonna have to do? So, basically, in this game, you take on the role of an adventurer, accepting a call for help from a small town called Mistria. They promised a reward to anyone who shows up to help with the town. A farm and piece of land, all their own. So, your guy shows up and he's just like, free land? Hell yeah, I'll take it. With a fully customizable start to your character in the game with a lot of different options, it lets you dive right in with introducing you to the map, the characters, the gameplay mechanics, and so on and so forth. Now it's up to you, the new farmer/adventurer, to help rebuild the town. So, as always, let's go into the good and the bad, followed by my final thoughts in a precise and timely manner, shall we? And I will try to keep this all under 10 minutes. So, up first is the positives. And the first positive point here is the art style and the graphical design. Let me start off with the bad first, though. I personally don't like the color scheme. Too many pinks and purples. It's a similar problem to the last Stardew Valley clone I looked at. Just, what is with these colors? Just give me normal freaking color schemes. Like, it hurts my eyes. I just want regular green trees. Why is that so hard to ask? But besides the color schemes, everything else looks really good. The pixel style is nice and charming, the attention to detail is there in places. Each character has their own little detailed portrait, which will also portray their different emotions or facial expressions or whatnot at the time. Overall, I think it looks a little bit like more of a refined Stardew Valley style. And honestly, I like that, it's not that bad. Things do tend to feel a bit clustered though at times, but for the most part, the artistic design and quality was good enough for me. Next up for the positives is the sound design. Now, there's no voice acting here, which honestly is fine. That can be hit or miss sometimes, so I'd rather just keep hearing voices in my head. They said the sound effects, well, I said out loud while playing, they sound pixelated and perfectly goofy, which I personally consider a positive. As for the music, well, it's there. It's honestly not bad, and reminds me a lot of the musical style of Stardew Valley. It's in the background, and it's perfectly chipper and bouncy. Just make sure that you turn it down a little, or else it will kind of start to get overbearing and annoying. Up next for the pros is the game's design. Now, as a Stardew Valley clone, this can be either a good thing or a bad thing. I personally think it's a good thing. The gameplay is very similar to Stardew Valley, and I feel like I could just take my last review of Farlands and copy and paste it here for this one. If you don't know the gameplay style that I'm mentioning here, then here it is in a nutshell. In this game, you need to shovel ground to make a farming plot, hoe the ground, plant a seed in the ground that you hoed, water that seed, and water that seed every day, and then when it finally becomes a plant, you harvest it, stick it in the magical box by your house, and then receive money at night under your pillow like the damn Tooth Fairy. There you go. But there's also combat in this game, and in this game you can actually watch your little guy do sweet sword combo moves. Also, I keep seeing magic stuff in places like spells to learn or spells that you can tag for quick casting and a casting key binding. So it looks like there will be magic fighting in this game, which honestly is great. I like that a lot because the one thing I thought Stardew Valley was missing was the ability to fling giant fireballs of death at my enemies. You have a stamina meter in the game, which runs out when you do everything, but can be replenished by eating or sleeping. The way you bond with people is the same in Stardew Valley and real life. Talk to them or give them free stuff. And then you've got a really cool dragon statue who stares at you menacingly from your yard. His purpose is, well, I'll get into that. You basically receive magic purple balls every time you do, well, anything, and eventually you can take these purple balls and give them to the dragon, and in return he'll give you cool perks that will help out your daily life in exchange. That's actually unique and interesting, and I kind of like it. Also, this game has some similarities to my time at Portia, with you being able to contribute raw resources or goods to the town folk to help them in emergencies, or repairing things, or just helping people who have lots of money but don't have large piles of stone, and they want to rectify that. They also have some clear, cool signs of things that could be interesting if they build on it more. For instance, every Friday night, the whole town gets together at the tavern. Some people will be sitting at the bar and having drinking competitions. Some people are playing cards, and some people are even playing their own version of D&D. It surprised me. It was so out of left field that I didn't even realize what I was reading until I went back and reread it. And I was like, are they really doing this? And I love it. It actually creates a weird feeling of realistic people doing realistic thing in the game. And it's very much appreciated. The gameplay is oddly addicting, like a lot of games out there, but also it was really fun and immersive, and I could keep going on the gameplay, but I've spent too much time on this already. Next up for the positives is the tutorial. It gives you the option to read them or not, while at the same time kind of cleverly giving tips and tutorials as you're speaking to people. And the little tutorial pop-ups are very brief and simple and easy to get through, so for a game like this, the tutorial was actually pretty good. And the last things positively that I want to talk about are the stability and the price tag. The price tag is brilliant. I mean, it's even cheaper than Stardew Valley, and considering it's an early access, that's a really good sign, because it means that the developers understand the value of their game in its current state, they understand that it's early access, and they aren't out to screw you, like some others I could mention. As for the stability, well, my game never crashed, never froze, clipped, dropped frames, or anything. In fact, the game ran rather smoothly with no issues at all, at least none that I saw. So that's great too, not having to worry about your PC spasming out during gameplay. But that's all I got for the positives, and now I gotta move on to the negatives. But before that, if you find this video entertaining, or at the very least informative, then do me a big favor and show my channel some support. I mean, it only grows if thou wishes it, so please wishes it. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell. They help way more than you might think, okay? Okay, thanks. Now then, on to the negatives. Now, with the game being in early access, I'm aware that it's gonna have some issues or some stuff that's incomplete. Doesn't mean I can't mention them though, and that's just it. The first negative is with the user interface. It does have some tooltip pop-up bubbles, but not enough. I can't navigate the world because the map doesn't identify anyone or anything. You just get images, which is okay, I think, but I still don't know who anyone is or where anything is, so the map is basically useless except for pointing me in the right direction. And as you traverse through your menus, there's very little information that explains what anything is. So you'll find yourself mostly just ignoring things unless the game itself shoves them in your face. Oh, and the user interface menus are ugly and disorganized as sin. Every time I had to navigate through my menus, I was just annoyed as hell and just trying to get through them as quickly as possible. The next negative point is the controls. The accuracy is off, and yet too much at the same time. The game moves fast in some ways, but slow in others, and overall, everything while playing felt awkward. For instance, your character moves forward whenever he swings his sword, which is the only tool for clearing grass, and the only tool that does that. So as you switch back and forth between tools, your character will kind of just jump around a bit, which throws off your semblance of where you are. There's no holding click to harvest either, like in a lot of games. You have to smash the click button over and over again to chop trees or mine stones, and that gets annoying very quickly. And every little thing, every little animation must come to completion before the game will let you move or do anything else, which just frustrates you as you try to get things done quickly. And last but not least, the game's not finished yet. It feels very empty, very repetitive, and kind of boring overall in the beginning. Now obviously this isn't that big of a deal because the game is obviously not done yet, but I do hope that they will give more to, give more to the characters to make it feel more alive, bring more life to the world and your character and give you more stuff to do. I mean, I want more slice of life stuff in my farming simulator games. Like when I played Stardew Valley, I would immerse myself and roleplay. I would wake up in the morning. If it was raining, I'd start the fire because I figured it'd be more cold with rain. Then I'd eat breakfast. I'd kiss my NPC wife, and I'd pat my kids on the head. Then I'd sit down and watch TV before going out to do my chores. Stardew Valley found a good balance of gameplay that meant something and actually contributed to something, and random stuff that didn't contribute to anything but was just realistic and made it feel like real life, slice of life stuff. So I hope this game does eventually give us more stuff like that. Like there's not going to be any TVs in this world because it's fantasy medieval, so what are they going to do to supplement that? Another instance is just let us join the card games every Friday night, make it a little mini game, or the D&D stuff every Friday night, where instead of a mini game, just a lot of dialogue options and then people's reactions or stuff. That could be really cool. That could be really fun. But as it is now, it's pretty much just farm, mine, and do chores for the townsfolk, which will get boring after a while. Alright, so that's all I can think of really to say negatively about the game, or positively, at least in any way that I could think of that would, be worth saying anything. So what are my final thoughts? Well, I think this game is a serious threat. It is a threat to my personal time. I am worried that I am going to spend every hour of the next week obsessed with this game. In other words, I think it's a really, really good Stardew Valley clone. It's still very early, it's got a lot more development to be added, some things definitely need to be fixed, but from what I see here, this is a safe investment. This has some serious potential to be an amazing farming simulator. I highly recommend the game. If you're even remotely interested in farming sim games, you should definitely give it a try. This game is very well put together, it's stable, it's got a great foundation, and honestly, it is worth our time, and these devs deserve the investment. Alright everybody? Alright, so that's all the time I got. That's all I got to say today. Thanks so much for watching, with a special thanks to those of you who stuck around till the end. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you all again on my next adventure. So until then, I bid you all farewell.